Welcome, I'm Perrin Leach, the General Director of the COC. Thank you for joining us for our 23-24 season. The Canadian Opera Company is the largest opera producer in the country, and we're celebrated around the world for our innovative programming and creative excellence. Our company attracts some of the biggest global stars and visionary creative teams, while staying rooted within our community and with our local partnerships. If this is your first opera, welcome. We hope your visit ignites a love for this magnificent art form and sends shivers through you for days, weeks, years to come. And if you're one of our returning audience members or loyal subscribers, welcome back. Thank you so much for supporting the artists, technicians, and creators who make the spectacle and power of live opera possible. Producing world-class opera is just part of what we do here at the COC. All season long, you'll be able to find nearly 90 free performances as part of our concert series in the Richard Bradshaw Amphitheatre. We also collaborate with local schools and community groups to create educational programming like music camps, training programs, and other opportunities to go behind the scenes. Opera really is for everyone, and as your opera company, we look forward to helping you discover all this amazing art form has to offer.
Hi, I'm Jane Archibald. It's such a treat to be back at the Canadian Opera Company singing the title role in Leos Janáček's rare operatic gem, The Cunning Little Vixen. This fantastical journey into the woods is making its first appearance on the COC stage in 25 years, so it's a real delight to present it in a brand new Czech language production from the English National Opera and director Jamie Manton. Before we raise the curtain, let's take a moment to explore what makes Vixen such an incredible operatic experience, from its enchanting melodies to its deeply moving story. Thank you for joining us. The Cunning Little Vixen tells the tale of a chance meeting between a fox and a forester, and uses this simple premise to reveal the fragile connection between humans and nature. Caught and raised in captivity by the forester and his family, the clever fox, Sharp Ears, suffers under the human's oppressive watch and the unwelcome advances of the forester's dog, Lapak. Sharp Ears fights to flee her captors, settles into life in the forest, and even finds love. Meanwhile, the forester devotes himself to recapturing her, spurred on by the mockery of his drinking buddies, a schoolmaster and a priest. When the fox and forester finally meet again, the opera delivers a stunning conclusion, offering a haunting reflection on the cycle of life and death, as well as humanity's place in the natural world. Vixen's story was inspired by a serialized novella by Rudolf Česnolidek, which featured comic strip illustrations of the vixen and other animals that have inspired many of the show's productions in the century since its premiere. The music, meanwhile, found inspiration in the traditional folk songs of Moravia. Sitting at the crossroads of Eastern and Western European musical styles, these rich cultural traditions inspired Janáček to become a pioneering collector of Moravian music samples, weaving these traditions into the rich tapestry of Vixen's score. Premiering the work at the National Theatre Brno in November 1924, Janáček would not live to witness the work's enduring legacy. The composer passed away just 4 years later, in 1928, and requested that Vixen's score be played at his funeral. In the decades following Janáček's passing, the work saw German, Italian, English, and American premieres, including a memorable New York City Opera production featuring designs by Maurice Sendak. The only previous time the COC has performed Vixen was in 1998 with world-renowned Canadian soprano Rebecca Kane as Sharp Ears. It is such an exciting moment to be part of this show's first appearance since. So I have a relatively new relationship with his music. My husband, who's now retired, sang almost all of his operas, I believe, so he was very excited when I was invited to sing this role, and has lots of comment, lots of inspiration for me, and it just kept popping into the living room when I was practicing, saying, "Oh, that's just so Janáček, like no one else writes like that," which I'm discovering now myself. It's beautiful music, it's incredibly unique. He definitely has his own voice, and I'm excited because I certainly hope there's more of his music in my future. The challenge for me has been matching the rhythm of the language with the rhythm of the music. And that's a common theme for anyone who's not a native Czech speaker, because there's emphasis on certain syllables, and then there's also length on certain syllables, and those can both come out the same, but ideally should not. And when I first started learning Vixen, I got a little bit stressed because her first two big, well, they're not even phrases, they're kind of run-on sentences. She becomes very, very chatty at the beginning, and it's rapid-fire Czech without a break, without interruption from other characters. So it's like a long and extended tongue twister. So I thought, oh my goodness, should I have started this about 3 years earlier than I did, thinking that the entire role was going to be that way. Luckily, it's not. It's a beautiful mix of this kind of very wordy, spunky, character-driven music, and then of course beautiful, signature Janáček phrases, especially in the love courtship scene with the fox in the second act. Just stunning evocation of love, new love especially, and you see a different side of the Vixen because she's been very much a fighter, very much a survivor up until that point, and then you see this new vulnerability that I think anyone from any walk of life can identify with if they have experienced love for the first time. It takes you back to a very vulnerable, innocent place, and it's a lovely thing to sort of re-experience myself through the Vixen. The thing that's great about coming back to the COC is all the familiar faces. It's kind of like an unofficial home company for me. In all the different departments of the opera, I see faces that I've been seeing since I first sang here in 2011, and some even before that, when I was really young, starting out in Toronto and doing some auditions and that kind of thing. Some of the faces have been there since then. So it's kind of like a homecoming, and the energy and the support is always wonderful here. There's a sense that people are happy to welcome me back, happy to support me and give me what I need so that we can collaborate together to put on a great performance. And the team is always, without exception, just you walk into the rehearsal room on the first day and it's just a great energy. And I think the COC works really hard at fostering that. So people who come and sing here for the first time are always sort of pleasantly surprised by that, but I'm not, because I've had the pleasure many times. So I think what people will take away from this opera, what I hope they will take away, is a sense of childlike inspiration about the wonder of the natural world and the interplay between humans and animals. Certainly they may come to the opera expecting that because it's about animals, but it's also about some very deeply human themes about connection, power, control, love of nature, protection of nature. And I think when they leave, if nothing else, they'll leave humming some of the absolutely stunning melodies. The opera is just filled with beautiful leitmotifs, and they will not be disappointed musically.